Are you saying now?
If the news is who won MPO, I know who won. Yes.
Okay. Ganon Burr took it down. Paul McBeth came in second. He, valiant fight, just couldn't quite do it. Cole Allen finished in third. Paul won.
I know.
Man.
And I will tell you, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for the Jomez final round to come out because I'm very excited to watch it.
Yeah,
It's a good watch.
Whenever I saw that he won, I felt like I was in college.
I was tweeting about it, and shout out to our Discord, the live tournament chat in Discord. I hadn't been in there in a while, just because I kind of forgot it existed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I got back in there, and man, it's a good time. It was on fire last night, though, but I think that DGN, they're never going to release a number, but I feel like they probably gained a decent bit of subscribers going into this final round / during the final round. Because, like, if I was sitting there and I hadn't already paid for DGN and I was like, we're a few holes in and Paul McBeth's built a 4-stroke lead through 6 holes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, $5 I can watch this.
Yeah.
I think I would have crumbled.
Yeah.
I think what was huge I got people really upset talking about veterans baskets. That's interesting. I think what was huge for it was
come after veterans,
if it was going into the final round and Paul was down 1 to Ganon, I think I would have been like, all right, the writing's on the wall. We know how this is going to go. The fact that Paul had a 1-shot lead is what made this so enticing, and there was nobody else really that close to them.
No,
so it was like
just them.
We kind of knew it was going to be a showdown, and boy, it was very exciting.
So Paul opened the tournament with a 12 under to take a 1-stroke lead over Ganon. Then they both shot pretty ridiculous 13 unders round 2.
Yeah.
To go into the final round where Paul had that 1-stroke lead. So Paul was at 25, Ganon was at 24, and then you had Kyle Klein at 19. So when you're looking at Paul and Ganon in the lead there, and realistically, given this season, when you're looking at Ganon Burr 5 shots over Kyle Klein, you knew it was just between Paul and Ganon.
Well, at least nobody's going to catch Ganon.
That's what I was
We've
saying.
seen Paul play himself into 7th place from there this year, but Ganon is not going to be caught by one of those.
So that's what I was like telling my wife, Liz, when we got back. I was like, this is something where like I want to watch this round so bad. It might be over after 6 holes.
Yeah.
Because I told her,
I was scared.
I was like, it could
Very
if
scared.
Paul comes out, throws OB on 1, messes up the 2, all of a sudden Ganon could have a 4 or 5 stroke lead, and like if you give Ganon that, he's not looking back.
It was definitely frightening.
But the opposite happened.
Quite the opposite.
So Paul comes out birdieing the first 4. He was 5 down through 6.
He didn't just birdie them though. I think his furthest putt was like 8 feet.
Yeah, he was tapping them out.
Everything was under the basket.
And meanwhile, Ganon was 2 under through 6. So Paul had actually extended his 1-stroke lead into a 4-stroke lead through 6.
And Ganon had to make, I think, 2
disgusting
good putts. I mean, the very first hole, he goes OB, leaves it way short, and has to make a putt where the camera doesn't do it justice because behind that basket, that thing is soaring down the hill.
Yeah.
So he had to come out and save himself a little bit, and Paul was just firing away. I mean, he was hitting his forehand lines, which I think just going into it, like key to victory for Paul was the forehand. Dude was hitting so many good forehand lines, and that's been a struggle with his game at times, and he had to rely on it a lot off the tee, and was just like, and there was a couple times he missed trees by like maybe 3 inches, but he hit the line. Like it wasn't like he pulled off the line, and the forehand was huge for him.
Yeah, the big switch comes. So Paul has a 4-stroke lead through 6. Yeah. And what's funny is my wife was like talking about like, what are we gonna do for dinner? And I looked at her, I was like, I don't care what we do for dinner. I'm not getting it. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not leaving.
My butt's not leaving.
Like I'm watching every single, like typically, okay, I'll run out and I can watch scores, and if something happens, I'll rewind. I was like, I'm not missing a second of this. If you want to go get dinner, you can. If not, we're eating at 8:00. Those are kind of the 2 options in front of you.
Yeah.
So it was at hole 6 when this is going on. She leaves to go pick up dinner. She comes back, and when she pulled back in the driveway, I was like, remember how Paul had a 4-stroke lead? She's like, yeah. I was like, he's down by 1. She's like, what?
The middle of this tournament was crazy.
Hole 8, you have Paul's drive hits a little bit of an earlier tree, got through the initial gap, but whatever. Gannon's drive, good spot, throws his upshot. Honestly, kind of crushed his upshot. Gotta like.
It would have probably skipped to like 30 back.
It would have been a little bit of a rough circle's edge, maybe just outside the circle in the rough. Instead, the basket got in the way. He throws in the eagle, and it was electric because no one up. Like there was like only a handful of people up by the basket, so like no one down the fairway knew it went in. And then the scorekeeper kind of starts freaking out, and Gannon's just standing there like, what? And then he finally like yells like it's in the basket.
It's funny, like,
and then the whole crowd erupted.
Like it was only like 250 feet.
I'm wondering if
what did
maybe
they give
it
him
just
for
sounded,
the distance?
I'm wondering if it just sounded like maybe it was on a different hole or something.
There's a lot of holes close
315
by.
is what they gave
Okay,
him.
yeah, it was a ways away, but like, yeah, I guess. I mean, it skipped in with some speed. Like
That's
you were
an
saying,
ace.
like it
That's
probably
an
would have
ace
gone
right there,
25, 30
basically.
past. Like it was moving when it skipped.
So he eagles that hole to Paul's par. So now the 4-stroke lead get cuts to 2. Then on hole 10, they both give themselves long putts on this par 3. I think they were both like 50-some feet. Paul was a little bit out, missed his. Ganon banks his. They gave Ganon 49 foot. So that cuts it to 1. So then it's like, okay, we're right back in it now. Right back into a ball game. They both birdie 11, that short one that's an elevated basket. Then on 12, Paul finds trouble. Deep in the right stuff. Throws a great scramble shot.
The most ridiculous scramble shot. Just chucks it up in the air from the woods.
It was actually funny. Commentary, I really like Brian Earhart. I still don't know how I feel about Nate Perkins in the booth.
I don't like him in the booth.
I like him on the ground. I don't like him in the booth.
He's fine. Oh, what did he say? Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I remembered this. When Ganon threw in, this is how conditioned we are as disc golfers, or at least they think we are as disc golfers, to post-produce coverage. He literally delivers the line, guys, remember, we're seeing this live, so we didn't know that was going to happen. That's what he said on air after Ganon threw in.
So funny.
And we're like, yeah, we know. We know that you didn't know it was going to happen.
dip.
The fact that he felt like he had to explain that because people are used to the fake reactions on Jomez where like they know what happened. And so like I understand where his heart was in saying that, but it was like it was a little ridiculous because like, yes, this is live sports. That's how this works. That's why we're watching it. That's why we pay for it.
So the funny part of the Paul one was the camera angle, which they did the best camera angle they could because they're like deep in the woods. And I think they thought Paul was going to take this like lower line in front of him, and then out of nowhere, Paul just chucks it sky high,
straight up in the air.
And then they were just scrambling because like the camera's sitting there, and you can't see anything. And then they cut to a camera once Paul's disc kind of like hits the ground because no one knew where it was going.
I didn't even know how close it was until he got there to putt. Yeah.
Well, then that's what. Well, no, he didn't get a putt from it. He threw another shot from there to get the putt.
Oh,
he was up by the trees.
I think I missed that because when I saw
because he bogeyed the hole.
Yeah. Okay, this is all making sense now because I think I went to the bathroom and when I came back, I thought I don't know why I wasn't clocking that it was a par 4, but I thought that was his putt and I'm like, how the heck did he land?
No, he landed like kind of up where.
Yeah, badly timed bathroom break.
Maybe where a phenomenal drive would be. I think a little better than a drive could get. It's kind of where Paul's scramble shot landed. But what was funny is in the booth at that moment. Brian, I like the way Brian threw it down to Grant because it felt much more like a part of the broadcast than Ian's just like, Terry, what do you see, Terry? Yeah. Like Brian it felt a little more conversational.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit more natural. But at this moment, he was like, Grant, I'm gonna be honest with you, we didn't have a good camera angle on that at all. Where did that Paul shot land? And Grant Zellner, who did a phenomenal job the whole tournament, in my opinion, but this was funny to me. He was like, well, guys, it landed right at my feet. It was very funny. Like I'm standing here, and I see everyone's eyes go up. So I look up to the sky. I see nothing. And next thing I know, it just spiked 10 feet in front of me, and that was his response. And I was like, "Where were you, Grant? Where were you at? Are you in the middle of the fairway? Are you in a bad? Like we don't know, Grant. Tell us where you were." So that was funny. But then like 30 seconds later, you see Paul line up.
Location on Grant Zellner.
So then Paul gets like a 25-footer for his par and misses it.
That's the one I tweeted. Veterans baskets are doo-doo.
He hit like one chain left.
It was a little bit. It was like a little bit of a spite tweet, but I do feel like that one should have caught.
Because like very easily could have caught.
It was a lot of baskets.
But veteran baskets like stuff slips through it. Like it's the anti-prodigy. Like
they don't. Yeah, they don't kick you out. You go through.
You go right through them. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened. Paul hit like a little left side on Heiser, and it just went.
It popped out
straight through it. So Ganon, meanwhile, birdie. So now all of a sudden through 12, Ganon has a 1-stroke lead.
Yeah.
And I think I even tweeted it. I was like, "That's curtains."
I said, "Thanks for coming out, Paul McBeth."
Because I was like, if you give Ganon the lead, I didn't think it was gonna ever give it back.
13 is the deciding hole of this tournament.
And then that's when they kind of both looked like they didn't want to win it on 13. To be honest with you, Ganon messes up his tee shot. Ganon messed up almost every shot he threw on the hole. Realistically,
this is the Y hole for.
So Ganon leads to a double bogey. Paul's in position where like he could birdie this thing, and then so Ganon at this point has like thrown his tee shot. And then threw a scramble shot and then hit off the tree and went OB.
Yeah.
And now we're over to Paul. And it's like, if Paul gets up and down for birdie here, like he's gaining 3 strokes.
Mm-hmm.
and Paul just yanks into like the first available tree.
He's very fortunate. He
gosh.
didn't kick out of bounds.
And it was like,
it was a tight line that
What?
he was trying to take. I almost wonder if the forehand was more there because he just had to take it really like a really tight in on Heiser, and he just pushed it. Ganon is fortunate. I mean, he got fortunate off the tee because there's a ton of OB where he kicked. Like you get shot down. But his second shot was insane. I was like, oh, he's gonna make par on this hole, and then makes the huge mistake of hitting the early tree on the third shot and kicking out of bounds. I mean, going OB there, like that is literally the shot that lost him the tournament.
Yeah.
Because he was going to salvage, and then with Paul messing up his shot, he would have just been fine.
Yeah.
But that going OB there was just huge, and then Paul luckily took advantage of his break, and then just was able to jump up and save par there.
What was interesting to me is I still felt like, because we literally talked about this either on the preview show or last week, of like when Ganon messes up, it like adds
People
this
freak out
because people are like, this is my chance.
Yeah.
Ganon
well,
has
especially
messed
right
up.
after Paul had given it, like you couldn't even believe it. Like Paul literally just thinks probably I might have just lost this tournament, and then all of a sudden he's given this crazy gift on the next hole.
So when Paul messed that up, I literally in my head was thinking like, that was probably Paul's one chance. Like Ganon's probably about to birdie
if
out.
Ganon hadn't gone OB, I would have thought, he squandered. The fact that all he needed was par to get the 2 strokes right back, I was like, he's fine.
Well, it swung back to Paul, but I still in my head was thinking like, Ganon is now ticked off, and like Paul can't mess up now.
Yeah, well, no,
which wasn't fully true, but it was kind of true. But luckily for Paul, he didn't really mess up.
No.
I really think like the only mistake he made down the stretch was hole 16. He swung his approach shot wide, but he still got the birdie.
Yeah.
So like Ganon eagled hole 16 all 3 rounds somehow, which is crazy.
I didn't realize he got all 3 rounds.
got it
That
all
is
3.
legit insane.
That's why
Did he actually get to the island any of the times? Was he one of the guys? No, so he just had that.
Everyone was playing it short.
footer.
There's a few guys that made the island, but on the commentary, and I think they're
was
right on this,
luck.
they were saying like, I think the guys that are making the island are trying to lay up short and just pushing a little too
because
far.
I forget who it was. It might have been Calvin. Like skipped on the island.
Because like if you
and it's
landed,
like that's just luck.
If you landed where Ganon and them were, which Ganon the final day was another 50-footer, but you could be short of the island and still inside the circle.
Yeah,
and like that's where guys were trying to like, if you just
for
give yourself
sure.
that 50-footer for eagle, that felt like
You take
all
that
day you
every
could do
day,
it.
yeah.
And so Ganon was in position. I was like, he's gonna eagle, because like that's why my wife was now sitting next to me again at this point, and she was like, oh, he won't make that. I was like, it's Ganon. I was like, this is literally like,
that was,
I was like,
that
this
was
dude,
always
like that's a
getting made.
tap in at this point, because like the pressure. Yes, it's a 50-footer, but it was wide open. I was like, that's what he does. Like, he's not missing that putt. And sure enough, he banged it. And then 17, they both give themselves outside the circle looks. I was actually surprised. Paul had like a 50-some footer.
I can't believe
he
he
went
ran it.
first, and he ran it. So 17's a really small island.
It felt like he was a little gun shy. Because he was like trying to psych himself up.
I literally I would put in the Discord, I was like, Paul's clearly going to lay this up. If Ganon runs, and Ganon's going to run his, if Ganon makes it, then we're tied going to 18. But like this could also lose it for Ganon. And then Paul stepped up. It was like taking forever. I was like, this psychopath's about to run this.
Well,
like if you lay up, like it takes it out of your hands to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But like the best thing Ganon can do is tie you. That's the best that could happen. And you're gonna force Ganon to run it, and Ganon's could lose the tournament on it, because if he runs it and it goes OB, you're screwed. But Paul ran it. Luckily stayed safe for the par, and then Ganon ran it. But this is the first time I've seen Ganon kind of try to throw a fluffy run.
Yeah,
he didn't jam it. He threw a more fluffy run. I think
went OB because he hit the top of the basket.
But I think that's why. A, I think that's why he didn't make it. B, that's why he stayed safe.
Well, I think I think if he throws his normal nose down putt, if you catch like top of cage and get that flat skip, like you're out of bounds. I think Paul was looking at it in 2 senses. Number one, I just watched Ganon make that last putt. I have to assume he's making this one. And 2, he's thinking to himself, if I make this putt, I probably win the tournament right here on 17. But I was still, I was like, that was very gutsy to run that putt, knowing that you can't lose the lead here, putting it under the basket.
That's what I was thinking, was like, where he was at was so easy to put it under the basket.
He was trying to take matters in his own hands.
Which I respect.
He threw a good bid, in fairness. He threw a very good bid, because he threw it in the perfect way to where he was hyzering in at the right distance, to where it was always going to find
kind of just
bigger
falling
part.
into the basket.
Well, because the other thing is,
it was a good run.
If he lays that up and he does lose the tournament, that's one of those where you're always looking back saying, if I would have just ran that putt on 17.
Yeah.
So I respect it. In the moment, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he just did it. Both miss, go to 18, 1-stroke lead. Ganon Burr has the tee,
and
throws one of the farthest drives I've ever seen.
My gosh,
got out the gap, found a bush that was out the gap that I didn't even know. I don't even know if he knew it was there.
Crazy shot.
Didn't really matter. You knew he was getting up and down. So now all eyes back to Paul, because if Paul doesn't get himself in the middle, this is going to a playoff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He throws it early left. I don't know if he released early left or if he expected the disc to flip more. It looked like he was trying to go pured because the disc had the perfect flight for if it was in the middle, but it was just left.
I thought it was a me early release looking shot.
Yeah.
It came out very left.
And then it didn't look like it was going to be good, and all of a sudden, you just see the little trickle roll back into the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, where it landed, I was thinking myself, because like it looked like it was all over one of those left trees. And I thought that was like, oh my gosh, he's going to hit it. And then when he missed that, I was like, okay. Like where it looked like it was landing, it was one of those, I'm not sure if he'll have a shot, but if he does, it's going to be very tough. But then literally lands, catches angle, rolls down a little bit right to not middle of the fairway, but a perfect spot to where, I mean, you saw his upshot, like he had a very good angle.
To where he just had tapping.
So yeah, he definitely got a good break there. Wouldn't necessarily have cost him the tournament, but it certainly gave him the opportunity.
When you're playing a tight wooded course like Idlewild, you have to play good no matter what. But the winner is going to get luck. Because, if you look through, like, Ganon got luck, too, at different points. But, like, when you're playing a tight-wooded course like that, because Idlewild, the cameras don't do it. Yeah. The cameras don't do it justice. But, like, the gaps are so small. It's so tight. And you have to throw it pretty hard through them. Like, the winner of Idlewild is always going to be the player that played the best and had luck on their side. And I think that's what happened on 18 was, like, Paul got his break.
Yeah.
All right, like, could he have gotten up and down from where it was going? Probably. He could have, but it would have been a lot harder than where he had to get up and down from.
Because that last shot, too, credit to Paul. Like, that shot may have looked routine on camera, but throwing...
It's so far away still.
It's far uphill and keeping the disc at the right height. If you leave that short, that grass is thick. It's grabbing it.
Yeah, and there's like that hill before, and then it goes down, and then it goes back
and if
up,
you hit
and it has a low ceiling, right?
Yeah, if you hit those trees, like
that's a circle's edge.
Yeah, and you could get a very weird look from there. So the fact that he went perfectly under the trees and then stopped it right before, like that was a very, very good shot to put the tournament on ice there.
And I think that this is exactly how I feel like Paul would have wanted to win when he was thinking through it. Is like, it wasn't a weird fluky, he ran away, never had pressure down the stretch.
Yeah, no,
this was like he went toe-to-toe with the best disc golfer on the planet, possibly the most talented disc golfer we've ever seen in our lives. He went toe-to-toe with him the whole round. He had moments where he lost the lead. It went back and forth. It was one of the best final rounds. It was tough to see.
Had some good pop from the gallery, too.
It was funny because, like, it was watching Twitter and watching Discord, it was tough to know, like, does this round feel so magical because it's Paul back in the mix? Yeah. Or is it just actually this good of a final round? And I still don't know where I land on it.
They both shot really good scores.
But like we've seen final rounds this good. But it feels different.
It's probably that it was a really good final round, but you were a little more invested because it was also Paul. So
that's
some mixture of both.
If this was like
because people were saying like this is the greatest final round in like so many years.
If you see Calvin and Gannon do that, it'd be another week on the Pro Tour. Like this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Of course the magic comes from the fact that it was a guy who hadn't won in 2 years, and hot seat Ricky Wysocki now.
Yeah,
he's on the hot seat now.
Because that's the other thing is like. Paul's last win was also at the PCS Sula Open.
Yeah.
So, like, it's been a while, over 2 years, since we've seen Paul go toe-to-toe on a full field, American soil.
Yeah, big win. And I mean, just start to...
It's also, like, they were talking early, I think it was, like, hole 2 or 3. Grant Zellner was... They threw it to Grant, and Grant was like, I was talking to Paul before the round, and obviously he hasn't won since his son's been born. And they're like... And there were travel plans for Hannah and Pablo, Paul's son, to go visit family, which ironically would have been coming to Lynchburg because Hannah's family's here. And those plans got canceled earlier in the week. And it just so happens that Paul's in contention. So he's like, if he wins, his son will be on the grounds. Basically, he's like, what they said that on like hole 3.
Yeah.
So then as soon as Paul wins, you see him turn to the crowd and like signal like that. The first thing he wanted was Pablo.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty great.
And
That's
so,
sweet.
yeah, so Paul won in front of his son. Now, he's going to have to win probably in like 2 to 3 years if he wants his son to remember him winning. Yeah. So, Paul's still got a few more years.
The pictures will always be there, though.
He's got the pictures.
But,
his son, with AI and everything, his son will be like, but did you really win? I don't know.
Because then you can, then when you're playing against your son, like later in life, and he beats you, he can't ever say, like, oh, you got all your wins before I was even born.
Yeah.
Like, it happened in your era.
Yeah.
No, great win and perfect timing as we get closer to USDGC because now we can really turn up those. That's what those narratives, baby.
Someone in Discord,
we're all in.
Someone in Discord was like, "Is this like when Tiger won the 2019 Masters?"
No.
And
oh my
no,
gosh,
Paul didn't come back from enough injuries. B,
it was also
USDGC would be like if there was a tournament that was similar, it would be USDGC.
That was my first thought. I'm excited for USDGC
like he's
now.
Still, yeah, Paul is still like at the top of his
Correct.
game.
Yeah. I'm just saying
crazy. Like the Tiger thing, like there's not a comparison as far as like there's not a player.
Ken Climo coming back.
He's a little too far gone. But like that would have been
Ken
like
Climo came back and got USDGC. Nate Doss. If Nate Doss shows up,
well,
at USDGC,
he wasn't good enough in his day. It would be like. There's not really a good example, but it would be closer to like if Climo came back and well, yeah, he's not Tiger. He's not like a Tiger Woods figure.
I don't like the Doss slander,
but it would be like if a Climo figure.
Do you want a
came
narrative
back
or not,
like
Trev?
in 2018 or something? Maybe I don't know. It's probably not
the closest we have is Paul.
No, it's not close. It's not even close.
The closest.
Paul is still in his like he is still like
Connor did make
at
a true
the height
statement.
of his game.
The closest.
That is
it's
a true
closer
statement.
than Ken. You hate Nate
Will
Doss.
Schustrick. If Will Schustrick came back and won USDGC, injury.
This is ridiculous.
Multiple times.
I'm gonna tap out of this segment because it's ridiculous.
Well,
There's nothing that compares to that.
It seems like you're the authority on it, so we need you in the segment.
No, because there's no player that could create
But
this scenario.
there has to be.
There's
a player
nothing
that is
even
the
close. But if something was the closest,
but there's a player that
what
is
would
the
it be?
closest. Doesn't mean they're close.
Completely new word.
Like right now, Connor might be the closest to China by where we're sitting.
That's true, but I'm not close. But I'm
He's
the
not
closest.
close, but out of the three of us, he's the closest.
I understand the reasoning. I guess you could make that argument.
So who would be the closest? What Paul just did. If Schuster came back on USDGC, if Climo came back,
don't even mention Doss. Not in
like it closest, and it has to happen like this year. You're saying, or can it happen down the road?
No, like this year. If someone were to win USDGC this year, what would be the closest storyline?
Yeah,
closest.
The problem is
Eagle McMahon.
No, the problem is if you look at players that would like somewhat fit the bill, they didn't have the popularity. Like if you think about like a guy like Feldberg, who's really accomplished and is really old and has dealt with injuries, but nobody. Sorry to Dave Feldberg, but like nobody's thinking about Dave Feldberg like
Johnny
Tiger
McRae.
Woods. Honestly,
I mean, imagine after the meltdown.
No, honestly, you are right in a sense that maybe the closest thing would be if Ken Climo came back at the ripe old age of 50 or whatever and won a major.
That's the closest.
It probably is because Paul, like the Paul thing, like it just doesn't.
I guess
he just won 2 years ago, and
you're right.
He's not far from.
But
like,
you have
his
to look at
dominance.
it. You have to look at it comparatively. 2 years in golf time might be the same like
Tiger won a
2 years
major.
in
Much
disc
harder
golf
on the body.
I believe,
and also disc golf harder on the body and a shorter lived sport.
Tiger's major.
So in comparison, it's like dog years to human years.
Tiger's major before the 2019 Masters was the 2008 U.S. Open. It was 11 years. That's a
so how long has golf been around? You know, and then how long has disc golf been around? Yeah, we got to do the more fractions.
Like 2012 or 13 I think.
So basically,
I feel like optics.
No, I don't think it's that.
I feel like optics and feel wise.
2007.
What was his last major?
Looks like 07. He started winning Masters majors in 12.
Okay.
So 07 will be his last.
07. So he's
07 to 2012.
So it'd be like if Ricky Wysocki won USDGC.
Yeah, you're right. That would be it.
Well, if we're going based on last major.
Well, yeah, but you have to look at
close.
that. You have to look at the comparison to like the dog years and human years. You know that thing.